I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar, and I'm extremely thrilled, honored, and privileged to be a host for this evening. Our partners, our presenting partners, NextGen Cloud Technologies, co-presenting partner, National Stock Exchange, associate partners, Vajiram and Ravi, NTPC, Indian Oil, Government of Uttarakhand, Gujarat State Cooperative Bank, ICICI Bank. Our university partner is ICFI, our knowledge partner, PwC. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'd like to take this opportunity. I'd like to request Mr. Raj Kamal Jha, Chief Editor, The Indian Express, to join us to present the opening remarks, please. And could I request a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome him, please. Welcome, sir.
Union Ministers, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Shri Singh, SP Singh Baghel ji, Mr. Vaishnaw is going to join us soon. Distinguished guests, the Chairman of the Indian Express Group, Shri Vivek Goenka ji. It's my privilege to welcome you to the 3rd Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards. It's a celebration of the finest work done by district magistrates across the country. This year, 2025, makes this evening very special. It's the 75th year of the Constitution. In the newspaper, to mark this milestone, we launched a year-long series on women and men who have shaped the Republic case by case, who have pushed its letter and spirit, from pushing the boundaries of free speech to scrapping the zamindari system, protecting land rights to ensuring affirmative action. It's more than a coincidence that each work that we celebrate this evening has done the same thing. It has pushed the boundaries of the Constitution in letter and spirit in a visible and tangible way in the lives of people. With the DMs putting in place systems that touch the lives of people, giving a voice to their hopes, as we know the different articles of the Constitution, 14, 15, 19, and 21. In fact, you can match every work that we celebrate with one article of the Constitution, if not more. A second dimension of what we celebrate is how the DMs have cut across disciplines. In one, science meets culture. In the second, sociology melds with technology. In a third, economics intersects with human behavior. It's fitting, therefore, that our chief guest and the guest of honor showcase this in their own personal and professional arcs. Shri Ashwini Vaishnaw ji is an engineer, a civil servant, and a minister. Dr. Singh is a doctor, a college teacher, a columnist. Both bring to their many portfolios this interdisciplinary approach, and we will soon hear from them. We are going to hear from them about how the government intersects with the people. So this evening that we celebrate is not only about the DMs who have done a remarkable job, but it is also celebrating the community they have touched, the women, the children, and the men, how governance has helped them ask for more so that they can realize their full potential under the Constitution. Thank you very much for being here and for celebrating this effort.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, The Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards went through a rigorous selection process selected by an eminent jury, who are also with us this evening. Here's a short glimpse into the selection process. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
The Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards celebrate best practices across a range of categories: healthcare to gender and inclusion, skill development to education, energy to agriculture, startups and innovation to e-governance. As many as 450 entries poured in from 29 states for the awards. PwC, the knowledge partner for the awards, conducted a thorough check on the parameters of impact on public, sustainability, problem solving and people participation for all the entries. The shortlist was then verified by field reports by the Indian Express reporters and editors. The final winners were selected by an eminent jury, which included Wajahat Habibullah, former chairperson of the National Commission for Minorities and first Chief Commissioner of India; Nirupama Rao, India's former Foreign Secretary; K.M. Chandrasekhar, former Cabinet Secretary; Amarjit Sinha, Senior Fellow, Centre for Social and Economic Progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to take this opportunity to invite our jury chair, Mr. Wajahat Habibullah, former chairperson of the National Commission for Minorities and India's first Chief Information Commissioner, to walk us through the process, please. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sir. Very honored to have you with us.
Jitendra Singh ji, Mr. S.P. Singh, friends, it's a privilege for me to serve on this committee, I think, for the second or third time running. But let me tell you, since I've been asked to walk you through the process, as to what were the criteria principally guiding the selection. A lot has been said about the purposes of this award and the fine work done by District Magistrates. And I'd like to congratulate the Indian Express and its partners for instituting this award. Because, in my view and my experience, and I think other members of the jury will agree, there have over the years been a great deal of work done down at the district level, the cutting edge, it has been called, of the government, where the government interacts directly with the people. The institution of District Magistrate is an old institution, harking back to the days of the Amal Guzar of Raja Todarmal, and then the collector and so on. But today, it has become an instrument for bringing development to the people. It's no longer, as you know, collector, there's nothing further, they're collecting, but they're actually delivering and actually working for the people. Now, obviously, the progress of our country, and all of you will know, that development has not necessarily been uniform. The reason, policies are the same, state government policies, Government of India policies. Government has now been decentralized right down up to Panchayati Raj. All these are there. But the office of the District Magistrate, when I'm telling you that this is an ancient institution, this is an institution that was used by the British to strengthen the empire and therefore was replicated across their empire. But our free and independent India has used this institution as Sardar Patel foresaw in the Constituent Assembly as the instrument to bring governance to the people. And bringing governance to the people means serving the public. I have been director of the National Academy of Administration also during the time that The Prime Minister was Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. And every time, for 3 years I was there, and every time I'd reiterate to my officer trainees as they parted ways to go on to serve in the districts and secretariats, they must not forget their public servants. Very often, sadly, we begin to think, I mean government servants, begin to think as the public as our servants. It's important to remember. And these awards help to bring home to those who may not be the awardees that is the prime objective of governance in today's democratic India. And here, therefore, the persons who have been selected, yes, for their innovative ideas of how they have applied development policies in particular fields. But the governing feature has been, number one, is it something that the public needed? Number one. Number two, as was mentioned, what was the effect on the public? And the advantage of instituting this award is that it helps to set examples. Otherwise, very often, and my colleagues would agree, there are people who've gone out and done excellent work in the field. But then, when a successor comes, he either feels that he would like to take another course, and so on, and therefore the development activity that has been undertaken is not sustained and tends to disappear. So here we have seen that the development activity that has been initiated, has it become a part of the functioning of the village, of the district, and the people of that district, have they adopted it as part of their way of life and part of their demand from governance. Now you know that over the years, institutions have come up to ensure that the public is actually involved in the development process, and the present government has evolved a system where officers go out from secretariats to go to the districts, meet with the people, meet with the district magistrates, and then determine whether the policies are actually helping or not helping. This is important. Why is it important? Because the public happiness, the public content is the key. So in brief, that is what I wanted to tell you was the criterion, the principal criterion in seeking these awards. Not the idea was a brilliant idea. There may be brilliant ideas, and there are brilliant ideas. Not that it was so innovative that it had never been done before. No, it may have been done before. But how far did it affect the lives of the ordinary citizen in keeping with the principle so clearly enunciated by the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, to wipe the tear from every eye? Maybe it is not a tear, literally, now, but the concerns of the individual with the least capacity or resource of his own or her own to be able to live the life of a developed, free, independent-minded Indian. That is the essence of seeking to recognize the district magistrates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to take this opportunity to invite Mr. Vivek Goenka, Chairman and Managing Director, the Indian Express Group, to deliver the welcome address, please.
thank you, Shri Wajahat Habibullah, for the wonderful work that you, as chair of our distinguished jury, have done. Your work makes this evening possible. Welcome our chief guest, Honorable Union Minister for Railways, who's on his way, Information and Broadcasting, Electronics and Information Technology, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnaw ji. Guest of honor, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, who is the Minister of State with independent charge of Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, the Prime Minister's Office, Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Atomic Energy and Space. As Chief Editor Rajkamal Jha underlined, receiving these awards from you is most appropriate. Your record in public life has been synonymous with excellence in governance. It inspires the next generation of bureaucrats. All the nominees, the 16 winners of the 3rd Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards, all district magistrates from across the country who have traveled to join you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, your presence this evening is a very powerful idea. It was an idea born 10 years ago, which today is, and I strongly believe, more relevant than ever. Indeed, at a meeting with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we discussed this idea, and he lent his full weight to it when he announced the biennial Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards. Showcasing and celebrating the work of District Collector or the District Magistrate, who is the first foot soldier of governance, who bring the gains of freedom, governance, and development to the most vulnerable of the fellow citizens. These magistrates will be tomorrow's secretaries in the states and in the center. They will constitute the steel frame, or rather platinum frame, that secures and renews our democracy. This year, in the 3rd edition of the awards, we are delighted with the response, double of what we started. We have received a record of 456 entries across 18 categories from the 29 states and union territories. Our categories track progress in a range of areas that touch all aspects of life, education and healthcare, to Swachhata and gender, social welfare and agriculture, to MSMEs and startups, even law and order. The awards capture the widest range of what excellence in governance means: ideation, implementation, and impact. After a rigorous analysis by PwC, as you saw in the clip, we were privileged to have a distinguished jury. It was headed by, as we know, Shri Habibullah, who is the former Chief Information Commissioner. His colleagues, Mr. K.M. Chandrasekhar, our former Cabinet Secretary, Smith Nirupama Rao Menon, former Foreign Secretary, and Shri Amarjit Sinha, Senior Fellow, Center of Social and Economic Progress, who is with us again today. Each one of them has been an architect of change. The participation brings both integrity and insight into these awards. All the entries were then verified on the ground by Indian Express network of national correspondents, meticulous and rigorous. Over the next few weeks, we will be writing about each one of the award-winning projects in detail. This will definitely help share best practices. Of course, each project is unique to its setting, shaped by its history and geography, but good governance has principles that translate across regions. The Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards, therefore, is not only a celebration of that excellence, but will also help foster it. Once again, my heartiest congratulations to all the winners and my deepest appreciation for the work they have done and your presence here today to celebrate it. I welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, to share his thoughts and to start the award ceremony. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. We'll request you to stay on stage with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are extremely honored and privileged to have with us our guest of honor, the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji. Sir, thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us. I would now request you to kindly join us on stage and share a few words, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Mr. Jain, all seated before me, all the dignitaries and veterans. I can see all the seniors over here from the political spectrum, also from the civil services. And I think I must begin by complimenting the Indian Express Group for having started this tradition about 3 years back. And in a way also supplementing the kind of work that the government is doing in periodically felicitating, identifying some of the officers who are performing differently or in a more distinguished manner. Now, having said that, I think sometimes we tend to take fancy in saying, look here, Indian Administrative Service is a reincarnation of Indian civil services of the British Empire, or maybe inherited from there. But actually, to add to what Mr. Wajahad was very beautifully pointing out, in fact, the role and the expectations changed on the midnight of freedom itself. The very fact that the district head, who was known as district collector, came to be known as district development commissioner, in itself carries the connotation that he was expected to collect revenue for the British Empire or for the empire, and now he was expected to collect revenue for the welfare state. And I think if many of us who were civil servants at that time and also in the subsequent generations realize that, that would at least accomplish half of the task that is sought to be done by the jury, by the teachers at the academy and elsewhere. Secondly, over a period of time, it's not, the dynamics has changed. The civil servant of half a century ago is no longer the one today, because after all, he is the child of the same society. So, wahi gun aur avgun usme bhi hai. So you cannot blame or single out a civil servant for something that you find has been happening inappropriately, because after all, he is not different from the society that has groomed the others. But at the same time, the level of accountability has increased, the scrutiny has increased. There were times soon after independence and the immediate pre-independence or the immediate post-independence times when people hardly got to see a collector or a DM. He was such a remote, of an iconic person. And now I'm sure out of 700, 800 districts we have, at least 1/4 of the districts each day have a dharna pradarshan or a dharna protest outside a collector's office. And many of the collectors in some of the most volatile or vociferous states get habitual of checking on telephone before they leave their residence if everything is quiet on the way. And those of them who have gone through these services, because I've seen them closely and also try to understand them. So they are expected to, but I think that's a different kind of a nature of a task and which they are expected to perform, which is an opportunity, a challenge, and also an opportunity for them to prove themselves. Now, what we did in the last 10 years in the government, and I think it's an opportunity for me to mention, because if we don't pat our back, who else would? So, first thing we did was, very much in the manner the Indian Express has taken up, we changed the entire format of the PM Excellence Awards, which were being given to the civil servants earlier. Earlier on, it was more of individual profile-based. So sometimes, if not consciously or subconsciously, some kind of a subjectivity or extraneous consideration would creep in. Like, for example, somebody would suggest, look here, there have been many years we have not awarded somebody from Punjab, so we should have one, because in this country you have all these balances also to take care of, and if you don't take care of course, the civil servant will not be harmed, but someone like me who's there on a 5-year probation term would have to face the music. So when somebody suggests that, you try to figure out who from Punjab. So they say, oh, A, he got one. B, he's already got. So left out is Z or C. So the person gets a reward by default. So what we try to do is, and sure, veterans like Mr. Alphonse are there, we made it program-based or flagship program-based. So each year now we single out 5 or 6 flagship or priority areas or sectors of the government in place and then invite entries. And the result has been miraculous. We get almost 99, 98% entries from all the districts because each district collector is trying to vie with each other to prove that he's performed better in that scheme rather than that. So it helps us both ways. The implementation, the execution of that particular scheme also seeks to reach the saturation point. And the collector, since he's the recipient of the award in his capacity as the collector, not in the individual capacity, but nevertheless, he gets all the credit, and of course, which he richly deserves. So that is one. The other is that earlier on, right from the academy, the civil servants would straight away go to the state cadres. We took an unorthodox decision, though very cautiously, of having a 3-month stint in the central government. And a new designation was created called Assistant Secretary. To begin with, we were slightly apprehensive how these young boys and girls would react because they go there, become SDMs and DMs, and if they go to a Mufassil, subdivision, you have 4 attendants for 4 limbs. You are pampered up so much. So here we would be asking them to sit with the under-secretaries and sort of behave like interns for 3 months or so. But later on we realized that they actually enjoyed that experience. And of course, when we started off this, I had a sitting with them. I said, look here, it maybe sometimes you would realize that it's going to do you also some good because when you go off there, you sometimes, you're not able to reconcile to the new situation. Suddenly you come out of academy, you become the big boss over there. And in a small town, you're treated like a Maharaja. So on the one hand, you have people there making a beeline to gain your patronage. On the other hand, you have the matrimonial market chasing you. So in that humbug, you get confused. So we thought this could be a leveling ground for you too. At the same time, you could also carry with you some perspective of the central government and the flagship program. And it really helped because soon after that we had COVID and we were calling up each district collector every day. We made a routine of that sort. We divided the districts amongst themselves. And whenever at the other end you had one of those collectors who had gone through that stint, he would very confidently speak from there. Sir, I'm the one who was in that ministry. And these boys, these days, they no longer tend to follow the kind of protocol which maybe Wajah Sahab ke samay mein hua hoga. But I think at the end of the day, because if I go on and on, then it will be, I think 2 things have happened. A, there's a demographic change. And in other words, there is huge democratization of civil services. It's no longer confined to an elite section. Earlier on, we had civil servants mostly for the South Indian states, like for example, Tamil Nadu, for example, Kerala, and in North, of course, Bihar. Now we have toppers from the most unlikely states like Punjab, Haryana. So that's a huge demographic change. And I think and you have a huge percentage of women civil servants now coming in, almost 28 to 30%, which was hardly 3 or 4% earlier on. And for 3 consecutive years, we had a woman topper number, rank 1. We had that girl called Ira Sehgal, followed by Tina Dabi, then I think there was Sanjeevni, and the 4th was, of course, a boy from Hyderabad, and I said, you've broken the jinx. So, and that has been possible all because of the access to information, access to knowledge. And my, I think, message, because the Indian Express has done a contribution to the society as well by starting this, would be that we could at least make the parents aware of not spending those 5-7 lakh a package which costs in these coaching centers. I have had the opportunity of sitting with the 20 toppers consecutively every year for the last almost 10 years. And believe me the toppers have a background of a Navodaya Vidyalaya, a Kendriya Vidyalaya, hardly anyone coming out from these coaching centers. They may be going there towards the end just to take the mock tests. But I think we need to educate the parents, because when they go out for the morning walk, somebody says, "Maine apna bacha akash mein kar diya," the other one gets worried how he's done that. So that is one aspect of it. And that's a healthy change. It's a democratization of across the region, across gender-wise as well. And the second part, of course, which I think could be also guarded out, but that's not something to be left only to the administrators or the trainees of the administrators. That's a larger problem, too serious a problem, is that of the integrity, because that emanates from the social factors as well. So we had someone like Mr. T.N. Chaturvedi, who was the chairman of the IIPA for a very long time, the longest living civil servant amongst us, who passed away just about 2 or 3 years back. So I had a great fancy, because I am myself a storyteller, but I don't get a captive listener. So I like to be a captive listener to a good storyteller. So he used to tell me all the kind of stories, and he told me once, and I'll wind up with that. He said, for the first time when I became SDM in the then state of Madras, and a part of one of the Andhra Pradesh, today's Andhra districts, and my DM was a Britisher, and the sacrosanct was not to mix with the public too much, not to take too much of hospitality. And my boss would take the official car from his residence, from his office to his residence, get down there and then walk back to the club, officers' club, instead of getting down at the club which was on the midway. So that the message didn't go that he had used the car to go to the club. So he would go to the rest. So that was the kind of, because the integrity should not only be practiced, it should also appear to have been practiced. And I think the equal measure of the best measure of it is that it is practiced when nobody is watching you. So he used to narrate with a lot of fun, one of the incidents or anecdotes. He said once there was this inauguration of one of the cinema halls or some kind of course, you didn't have PVRs then. Was some Reddy there who wanted to launch his new cinema complex. So he was keen that the DM should be the chief guest. And DM was adamant that he would not go. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Mr. Reddy succeeded in persuading him. And the DM carried Mr. Chaturvedi along, who was his immediate junior. So after the ceremony was over, the host was keen and insisting that they should have some refreshments which he had laid out. And he said the DM was known for not partaking of such hospitalities or treats. So he said loudly in the hearing distance of all, he said, "Reddy, I don't take anything outside. They are insisting you stay back, but just be careful. Don't eat Reddy's salt." So that if you don't take anything in a manner that he comes back to you to seek a favor. But I think that is something that would be a matter of concern, but that's not, with all the to be fair to them, it's not the concern of the civil servants alone, it's the concern of the social concern, which is because they are equally capable or equally culpable to all the goods and bads happening in the society. But overall, there has been a healthy progression, and I must appreciate the present crop of civil servants. They have beautifully learned to balance their public obligations, also political obligations. And I was telling them other day in the academy, I said, what is appreciable is not what you learn from this academy. Equally appreciable is what you soon unlearn and learn outside. Like, for example, there's a cabinet reshuffle in the middle of the night. The same bouquet which was given to me would be given to someone else next morning. So they do so seamlessly, that's worth learning. Thank you.
Dr. Singh, if I could request you to kindly continue being on stage with us. Dr. Singh, if I could invite you to join us back on stage with us, please. Thank you for those words. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin with our award ceremony, we also have the presence of our chief guest for this evening, Shri Ashwini Vaishnaw ji, the Honorable Union Minister of Railways, Information Broadcasting, Electronics and Information Technology. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time and joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now that time and moment that we've all been waiting for. We will now felicitate those district magistrates who have worked on and helped introduce change in their districts, but most importantly, impacted lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin with the first category of this evening. Our first category is agriculture. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Tamil Nadu's Krishnagiri district, with its ideal conditions for flower cultivation, generates nearly 28 crore stems annually, contributing 200 crore rupees in export revenue. Yet, its farmers suffered due to inadequate post-harvest infrastructure, forcing them to rely on the auction center in neighboring Bengaluru. To address this, an international flower auction center was established in Hosur due to its proximity to Bengaluru International Airport. This centralized marketplace allows growers from Hosur and surrounding regions to sell their flowers directly to domestic and international buyers, facilitating efficient market access and expanding their customer base. For an idea that helped the horticulture sector bloom, K.M. Sarayu, District Collector and Magistrate, Krishnagiri, Tamil Nadu.
May I now request K.M. Sarayu to kindly join us on stage and accept the award, please. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. The second award is in the category of education. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Classrooms in East Kamen district of Arunachal Pradesh faced a familiar problem. The lectures and teaching failed to light a spark among students. That's when authorities set up an innovation lab. Using cutting-edge technology, including robotics and 3D printers, students were given a chance to develop innovative ideas, technologies and solutions to real-world challenges. This access to quality STEM education led to improved educational outcomes in the district. For a simple idea that clicked, Sachin Rana, Deputy Commissioner, East Kamen, Arunachal Pradesh.
May I now request Mr. Sachin Rana to kindly join us on stage to accept the award, please. Thank you, sir. Congratulations once again. Up next is our next category, which is healthcare. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
How do you talk about mental health? More so, if you are from one of the rural, marginalized communities that have limited awareness and access to help. It is with this in mind that the Samvedna initiative was launched in Durg, Chhattisgarh, to address mental health and mobility issues from schizophrenia to depression, anxiety, paralysis, and post-accident rehabilitation. As part of the initiative, community health workers and Durg Ke Doodh volunteers organized awareness campaigns on mental health. For bringing mental health awareness to one of the most vulnerable population, Pushpendra Kumar Meena, District Collector and Magistrate, Durg, Chhattisgarh.
May I request Mr. Pushpendra Kumar Meena to join us on stage, please. Congratulations, sir. Let's move on to our next award, and this is in the category of water. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Generations of farmers in Jharkhand's Giridih district have been cultivating paddy, a water-intensive crop, for farmers who depended on groundwater for irrigating their fields. Uneven rainfall and drought conditions meant limited produce and income. All this was changed with the conservation initiative, as part of which over 5,000 water bodies were meticulously mapped in the district and rejuvenated using a geographic information system or GIS-based tool. At the end of the program, 57 water bodies in the district were rejuvenated for playing a part in bringing the water bodies to life. Naman Priyesh Lagra, Deputy Commissioner, Giridih, Jharkhand.
May I now request Prabhakar Roja, Chief Administrative Officer, to kindly join us on stage to accept the award on his behalf. Thank you, sir. Let's move on to our next category, which is skill development. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
With Manipur caught in a spiral of violence since May 2023, in Kangching district, 20 relief camps sprung up almost overnight. Out of home and with no jobs, over 3,000 internally displaced persons in the district faced a bleak future. To address their livelihood concerns, the district administration started Project Le Baklai, as part of which the displaced persons were imparted livelihood skills from making handicraft products to candles, agarbattis, detergents, etc. Today, the relief centers act as mini production units for strengthening the hands of the disempowered. Rohit Anand, Deputy Commissioner, Kangching, Manipur.
May I now request Mr. Rohit Anand to kindly join us on stage to accept the award, please. Congratulations, sir. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Mr. George Verghese, the Group CEO, the Indian Express Group, to present the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, with a token of our appreciation for being our esteemed guest this evening. This, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, is a framed front page of the Indian Express edition, which in fact is Dr. Singh's birth date. I'd like to thank Dr. Singh. Would also like to thank Mr. Verghese, please. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is an honor and privilege to have with us our chief guest, the Honorable Minister, Shri Ashwini Vaishnaw ji. Sir, thank you so much once again for taking out the time and joining us. Your presence makes a lot of mean to us. I'd like to invite Sir on stage to join us, please, Sir. I'd also request you to say a few words, please, Sir. We'd love to hear from you, sir. Yes, sir, please. Thank you once again.
It's already, 2 hours they have been listening to people?
But we'd love to hear from you, sir.
Already 2 hours you have been listening to different things, so I'll keep it very short. Mr. Goenka, all the entire Indian Express team, all the senior dignitaries present here, thank you all for inviting me to this very interesting, something very close to my heart occasion. Very happy to see young, energetic officers doing their best in the field and really, really making such a big difference in people's lives. I always say that District Magistrate is not a person. DM is an institution. DM is actually an institution because across the country, there is so much trust, so much expectation from people, from that one particular institution, from that person who acquires that position, that it really, really means a lot. And once you get into that category where people start calling you an institution, the sense of responsibility also increases a lot. I think many of us who have gone through that phase in life would recall each and every day that we spend in a district means so much to us, means so much to our families, and means so much to the people living in the districts. One can recall many instances. For example, the super cyclone of 1999. I was serving in the district of Balasore in Odisha. Can I speak in Hindi? हिंदी में बोल ठीक पूछ ले इंडियन एक्सप्रेस इंग्लिश का पेपर है ना पूछना जरूरी है पता नहीं कल आप कुछ और छाप दे आजकल पता नहीं ना लैंग्वेज कैन बिकम सो बिग एन इश्यू तो जब मैं बालेश्वर में सेवा करता था तब का इंस्टेंस है 1999 सुपर साइक्लोन का दैट वाज द टाइम जब अपना जो मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट है उसका इतना ज़्यादा एक्यूरेसी वगैरह नहीं होता था उनका जनरली कहते थे कि पूरे ईस्ट कोस्ट पे कहीं पे साइक्लोन आएगा दैट वाज द काइंड ऑफ प्रेडिक्शन आईएमडी करता था राइट तो अब ईस्ट कोस्ट तो ढाका से लेके चेन्नई तक रहता है कहाँ साइक्लोन आएगा कैसा आएगा किस तरह की प्रॉब्लम आएगी सो उस वक्त नासा के कंप्यूटर्स से डेटा डाउनलोड करके ग्राफ वाला पेपर ध्यान है किसी जो अपने साइंस वाले राइट 8th 9th 7th वगैरह में पढ़ाते ना ग्राफ का राइट तो ग्राफ वाले पेपर पे पूरा उसका चार्ट ड्रॉ किया तो पता चला बाप रे बाप ये तो बहुत ही बड़ी चीज़ आ रही है बहुत बड़ा तूफान बहुत बड़ी आफत आने वाली है 300 किलोमीटर से ज़्यादा की स्पीड 320 किलोमीटर की स्पीड से 340 किलोमीटर की स्पीड से स्टॉर्म आएगा और वो स्टॉर्म भी इतना बड़ा घना उसका जो आई है इट वॉज सो क्लियरली विजिबल तो हमने कहा अब क्या करें बिकॉज उस टाइम में ऐसे कोई बहुत ज़्यादा रिसोर्सेज नहीं होते थे बहुत ज़्यादा कोई ना एनडीआरएफ थी ना कोई एसडीआरएफ थी इट वॉज लाइक रियली यू आर लिविंग इन वेरी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ एरा तो ऐसी सिचुएशन में किस तरह से रिएक्ट करना चाहिए जब रिसोर्सेज नहीं है आपके पास डेटा इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है आपके पास कोई ऐसा प्रेसिडेंट नहीं है सो व्हाट वी डिड इन दैट इंसिडेंट मेरा थोड़ा सा प्रेयर का कई लोगों की आदत रहती है तो प्रेयर की मैं सुबह भगवान से यही प्रेयर किया कि हे भगवान ये तुम्हारा गिफ्ट है लेकिन इस गिफ्ट को संभालने की शक्ति भी तुम्हें ही देनी है मेरे में इतनी शक्ति नहीं कि मैं इतने बड़े गिफ्ट को संभाल सकूं लेकिन उस गिफ्ट को संभालने की शक्ति भी आप ही को देनी है ऐसा मेरी प्रेयर थी सुबह। और उसके बाद में जितने पब्लिक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स थे, एमएलएज वगैरह, सबको बुलाया, जिला परिषद के मेंबर्स को, जिला परिषद चेयरपर्सन को, सबको बुलाया और 2-3 घंटे बैठे कि अब क्या करना चाहिए, ऐसी प्रॉब्लम आने वाली है। तो लोगों ने पहले तो विश्वास नहीं किया कि इतना बड़ा कोई इंसिडेंट आएगा, ऐसा बड़ा साइक्लोन आएगा। सुपर साइक्लोन नाम भी नहीं जानते थे कोई। फिर बाद में जब लोगों ने डेटा देखा और एक्चुअल में उसकी ग्रेविटी को समझा, तो एक एमएलए, तब भोगराई ब्लॉक की एक एमएलए थी, डॉक्टर कमला दास, वो काफ़ी लो लाइंग एरिया होता है, तो उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि इसमें एक ही तरीके से बच सकते हैं लोग अगर ऊंची जगह जाए। अच्छा, ऊंची जगह, आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ 1999 में उड़ीसा के गांवों में ऊंची जगह का मतलब या तो कोई मंदिर या कोई स्कूल। पक्के घर रेयरली कहीं पे किसी के होते थे पक्के घर। तो कलेक्टर का पावर कुल मिला के 5 लाख रुपए का। तो हम लोगों ने ये तय किया, एक क्लियर एक्शन प्लान बनाया कि भाई जो अपना इमरजेंसी पावर है, उस इमरजेंसी पावर से आप जितना चूड़ा और गुड़ खरीद सकते हो उतना गुड़ खरीदते हैं। और 29 अक्टूबर 1999 को हम लोगों ने तय किया कि अब इवैक्यूएशन चालू करते हैं, और इवैक्यूएशन का एक मॉडल बनाया। गांव के लोगों को बोला कि आप अपने घर को छोड़ के जो भी गांव में ऊंची जगह है वहां पे जाके रहिए। और आप विश्वास मानेंगे, 99 का सुपर साइक्लोन 31 अक्टूबर 99 को जब लैंडफॉल हुआ, उसका इमेंस डेवस्टेशन, एक के बाद एक गांव, जैसे कारपेट बॉम्बिंग होती है, पूरा का पूरा गांव फ्लैट हो गया, एक घर नहीं बचा। जो पक्की जगह जहां पे लोग, गांव के लोग ठहरे हुए थे, वो जगह बची, बस ऊंची जो जगह थी गांव की, और कुछ नहीं बचा। Thousands and thousands of people died in all the other districts of Odisha. मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में हजारों लोग बच गए। बालेश्वर में हजारों लोगों की जान बची। बाद में ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन के लोग आए, कई लोग आए। मतलब ऐसी परिस्थिति में भी जब रिसोर्सेज कम हो, जब डेटा अपने पास नहीं है, प्रेसिडेंट्स नहीं है, फाइनेंशियल पावर्स लिमिटेड है, लेकिन ऐसे में भी अगर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट चाहे सब लोगों को साथ लेके मिलके काम करे, कितना बड़ा डिफरेंस आप क्रिएट कर सकते हो। ये लर्निंग थी उस इंसिडेंट से। रिसोर्सेज, कभी फील्ड में हम जाएंगे, कभी रिसोर्सेज हमारे पास पूरे नहीं होंगे, कभी टाइम सफिशिएंट नहीं होगा, 100% जो चाहिए सर्कमस्टेंसेस वैसी कभी नहीं होगी। लेकिन ऐसे में भी अभी जो आपने देखे एग्जाम्पल्स, वो एग्जाम्पल्स when they create a difference, when they bring a significant change in people's lives, that is what matters, and that is what makes the position as an institution, not just a person, it makes an institution. मैं दूसरा अपनी लाइफ से एक और एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ जो मुझे बहुत ही I really cherish that particular example in my life, incident in my life. मैं कटक में सेवा करता था, बालेश्वर से कटक में ट्रांसफ़र हुई। कटक में बहुत ही पुराना शहर है, 4-5 हज़ार साल पुराना है, और वो शहर की एक अलग ही कल्चर है। वहाँ तक सेवा करते करते उड़ीसा में एक पहचान बन जाती है, लोग आपके बारे में जानने लगते हैं, पीपल स्टार्ट थिंकिंग ऑफ यू इन अ पर्टिकुलर वे, और लोगों में एक अच्छी भावना बन गई थी। पास के ज़िले में, मैं ज़िले का नाम नहीं लूँगा, पास के ज़िले में कैनाल का काम चल रहा था। कैनाल के काम में, कंस्ट्रक्शन में, एक थोड़ा सा ट्राइबल एरिया है फुलमानी, वहाँ का पूरा कंस्ट्रक्शन के लेबर आए हुए थे, करीब 150-170 के आसपास लेबर वहाँ से आए हुए थे। एक गरीब लेबर के, उस माँ के छोटी सी बच्ची को बुखार आया हुआ था। तो उसने कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को बोला कि आज मुझे छुट्टी दे दो क्योंकि बच्ची को बुखार है। कॉन्ट्रैक्टर ने कहा, अच्छा तेरी बच्ची को बुखार है? उसने बच्ची को उठाया और नहर में फेंक दिया। यू कैन नॉट इमेजिन वो दे वर ऑल टेरराइज्ड, सारे लेबर गए नियरेस्ट जो भी किसी को भी मदद के लिए कह सकते थे बोला, ऑब्वियसली किसी ने सुना नहीं उनकी बात. They all walked almost 35-40 kilometers from the construction site to my residence in Cuttack city. रात को 3:30 बजे पहुंचे. रात को 3:30 बजे पहुंचे और घर पे पहुंचे, मुझे उठाया, मैं बाहर गया, उनकी बात सुनी. आई वॉज शॉक्ड. लेकिन सबसे पहले मैंने उनके लिए खाने की व्यवस्था की, फिर 3 बसें की वहाँ से, और 3 बसों में उनको खाने के साथ जो कुछ भी कर सकता था करके उनको उनके गांव फुलवानी तक पहुँचाया. और जो बाद में अगले दिन सुबह का एक्शन लेना था वो एक्शन लिया. लेकिन इम्पॉर्टेंट क्या था, कई वर्षों बाद में मैं IAS छोड़ चुका था. IAS आई रिजाइन फ्रॉम द सर्विस वेरी अर्ली इन माई करियर. आई डेंट वेट फॉर पेंशन वेंशन के लिए, मेरा अलग ही माइंड में कुछ था करने का. आई हैड ऑलरेडी रिजाइंड, आई हैड गॉन फॉर माई MBA करके वापस आ गया था मैं. मेरे पास एक दिन एक लेटर आता है, आज भी मेरे घर पे मेरे पास है वो लेटर. उस लेटर में लिखा था कि आप मुझे नहीं जानते, लेकिन मैंने 10वीं पास की है आज, इसलिए मैं लेटर आपको लिख रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मैं उन बच्चों में से एक था जो रात में 3:30 बजे आधी रात में आपके घर पहुँचे और आपने उठ के उनका ध्यान दिया और उनको पहुँचाया, उनको बचाया. मेरे लिए वो भारत रत्न से बड़ी चीज़ है. वो लेटर मेरे लिए कोई भी अवार्ड हो, कोई भी भारत रत्न हो, कोई भी पद्म विभूषण हो, उससे बड़ा मेरे लिए वो लेटर है. वो जो ट्रस्ट हम डेवलप कर सकते हैं सोसाइटी में, जो हम लोगों के मन में एक भरोसा पैदा कर सकते हैं, आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट गवर्नेंस इज. आई थिंक गवर्नेंस इज the ability to develop the trust between the government and the society. That is what, when the society believes that yes, we have a system which will be working for us, which will support us, which will give us justice when we need. वो होता है इस इंस्टीट्यूशन का पावर, कि आप दूसरों के फेस पे स्माइल ला सको, आप दूसरों के चेहरे पे एक मुस्कुराहट ला सको, दूसरों के जीवन में एक खुशी ला सको. मुझे कई बार लोग पूछते थे, आपने IAS छोड़ा, आपको पावर पसंद नहीं था क्या, आपको पावर अच्छा नहीं लगता? मैंने कहा मुझे पावर बहुत अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन मेरे लिए पावर की डेफिनेशन, कई लोगों की जो डेफिनेशन है वो नहीं है. मेरे लिए पावर की डेफिनेशन है दूसरे की जिंदगी में खुशियाँ ला सके, वो पावर है. तो ऐसे ही जिंदगी निकल गई. आपने ऐसा बोलने का मौका दे दिया तो यादों के उसमें खो गए. विश यू ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट. जिन्होंने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, आपने, मैं देख रहा था अभी, और इसी तरह काम करते रहें. इस इंस्टीट्यूशन को और स्ट्रॉन्ग करें, अपने कंडक्ट से, अपने काम से, अपने बिहेवियर से, अपने व्यवहार से इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग कर दे इस इंस्टीट्यूशन को कि ये इंस्टीट्यूशन सदा सदा के लिए दुनिया में लोग इस इंस्टीट्यूशन को आके कॉपी करें. थैंक यू वेरी मच. ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट.
Sir, thank you so much for those very inspirational words. But we would now like to move forward with the awards presentation. Our award is in the category of Startup and MSME. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Despite producing high-quality handmade items, artisans in Chhattisgarh's Jashpur district lacked the skills and means to package and market their produce effectively. The district administration started Jashpur, an initiative to improve product quality and establish a robust brand presence. The initiative not only improved the quality of the products, but led to the establishment of sales outlets in major cities such as Delhi, Pune, and Mumbai. In less than 3 months, 4.5 lakh products from Jashpur have been sold through stalls and online platforms. For their increased earnings, the artisans have just one person to thank, Dr. Ravi Mittal. District Collector and Magistrate, Jashpur, Chhattisgarh.
May I now request Dr. Ravi Mittal to kindly join us on stage and accept the award, please. Congratulations and thank you so much. Our next category for this evening is gender and inclusion. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Fisheries is a key sector in Odisha, ensuring employment generation and poverty alleviation in rural areas, but mostly for men. As part of a new initiative, the Kendrapara District Administration now engages women for the job. The district's pisciculture initiative now has 2.6 lakh women members from 1,199 self-help groups who farm fish across 518.66 hectares of the Gram Panchayat tanks. Besides challenging conventional gender roles, the project is aimed at improving household income and nutritional security while ensuring gender equity and sustainable livelihood. For empowering women in pisciculture through a transformative approach, Suryavanshi Mayur Vikas, Collector and District Magistrate, Kendrapara, Odisha.
May I now request Mr. Suryavanshi Mayur Vikas to join us on stage and accept the award, please. Congratulations and thank you. Let's move on to our next award. The next Indian Express Excellence in Governance Award is in the category of disaster management. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Following the June 2nd, 2023 Balasore accident, when the Coromandel Express crashed into a stationary goods train, which in turn collided with the Bengaluru-Howrah Express, killing 288 people on the spot, leaving about 6,000 people injured. The administration faced an urgent challenge: how to ensure prompt treatment for the injured. The district administration mounted a multi-agency rescue operation along with local people, NGOs, police and army personnel. The 56-hour operation was marked with efficient triage and rapid referrals, which ensured only 6 hospital fatalities. This is considered a disaster management benchmark at the national level for leading one of the most remarkable operations to save lives. The Dattatreya Bhau Sahib Shinde, District Collector, Balasore, Odisha.
May I now request Mr. Dattatreya Bhau Sahib Shinde to please join us on stage and accept the award, please. Congratulations once again. Let's move to our next award, and this is in the category of e-governance. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
The Manipur e-District Portal is a single point of access to all departmental services offered by the government of Manipur. It aims at providing complete and accurate information on government functions and services to citizens, businesses, and other interested stakeholders. It envisions districts as the de facto front end of government, where most government to citizens or G2C interaction takes place. Kengu Zuringla, District Magistrate, Ukhrul, Manipur.
May I now request Ms. Kengu Zuringla to join us on stage to accept the award, please. Congratulations, ma'am. To our next award, ladies and gentlemen, and this is in the category Energy. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
In a groundbreaking initiative, over 25 interior villages in Gumla, primarily inhabited by particularly vulnerable tribal groups or PVTGs, have been equipped with a state-of-the-art solar grid that generates over 600 kilowatts of electricity. The project has meant improved educational outcomes for students, better medical equipment, and has helped spur economic activities, including for women. In addition, provision of more than 200 solar lift irrigation systems have helped address the critical issue of water scarcity in the region. Karan Satyarthi, District Collector, Gumla, Jharkhand.
May I now request Prabhakar Roja, Chief Administrative Officer, to kindly join us on stage and accept the award on his behalf, please. Thank you, sir. To our next award, ladies and gentlemen, and this is in the category Sustainability. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
Developed on a PPP model, the Bamboo Forestation-Based Economy and Elephant Corridor Restoration Program is implemented on 100 hectares of land on a remote and uninhabited riverine on River Brahmaputra and aims at creating livelihoods based on sustainable bamboo forestation while preventing man-animal conflict. It engages a local private organization to create, maintain and monetize bamboo plantations and provides 50% of the revenue generated to the Gram Panchayat and Zilla Parishad, while also creating livelihoods for locals. Aditya Vikram Yadav, District Commissioner, Sivsagar, Assam.
Welcoming Mr. Aditya Vikram Yadav to join us on stage, please. Congratulations. Moving on to our next category, which is Law and Order. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
In June 2023, a caste dispute erupted in Veeranampatti village in Tamil Nadu's Karur district after a Dalit was denied entry into the village temple as the issue threatened to snowball into a larger conflict. The Karur administration held a series of peace meetings involving the communities and took several steps as per the Thomas Kilman model of conflict resolution to restore peace in the village, which was reflected when all communities, including Dalits, entered the temple together for resolving a social conflict by involving civil society. D. Prabhu Shankar, District Collector, Karur, Tamil Nadu.
Welcoming Dr. D. Prabhu Shankar to join us on stage to accept the award, please. Thank you, sir. Let's move on to our next award, which is for the category Swachhta. Can we take a look at the AV, please?
How does one deal with a legacy, especially one that is 50 years old and weighs 1.53 lakh metric tons? Haphazard disposal of household waste for 50 years had resulted in mountains of legacy waste in 5 areas of Assam's Tinsukia district. Besides contaminating the groundwater and soil, the waste posed a hazard for commuters. Using biomining techniques, the Tinsukia district administration tackled this waste in over a year at a cost of 9 crore rupees. With that, 50 acres was freed up for development. And Tinsukia was officially declared the first legacy waste-free district in the Northeast. For making a clean sweep, Swapnil Paul, District Commissioner, Tinsukia, Assam.
Welcoming Mr. Swapnil Paul on stage to accept the award, please. Congratulations. And to the last category for this evening, which is Jury Special, can we take a look at the AV, please?
One of Karnataka's most backward districts, Kalaburgi, has 90% rain-fed area under cultivation, where jawar and bajra are staple food. To provide employment to women and healthy food to consumers, the district administration has undertaken the branding and marketing of Kalaburgi roti and provided roti-making machines to women SHG groups. Besides, the administration has launched many other initiatives in the agriculture, education and social sectors for empowering communities through multi-sector initiatives. Fauzia Tarannum, District Collector, Kalaburgi, Karnataka.
May I now request Ms. Fauzia Tarannum to join us on stage to accept the award, please. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the award segment. I'll request the Honorable Minister to kindly stay on stage with us. I'll request Mr. Vivek Goenka to kindly take his seat, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to now take this opportunity to kindly invite Mr. Anant Goenka, Executive Director, the Indian Express Group, to kindly join us on stage for a conversation with the Honorable Minister.
All right.
Now the grill starts.
Ashwini ji, you're used to the grill now. You've been, you're everywhere. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I think the energy that you have.
Well, no comments. I'm just waiting for the grill. Indian Express has a great habit of grilling people in multiple ways. Good.
Good. I hope it's a compliment. You know, we had an adda.
Take that as a compliment, man.
Good. Lovely. Ashwini ji and I, we had an adda a few years ago now, and there was one answer he gave to one of the rapid fire questions, which even now keeps coming back to me, where he explained the financial justification and impact of an investment in railways. He calculated about how the multiplier effect of an investment in railways is so exponential, and I think that got so popular with the IAS community, which is why I think you are the perfect chief guest for us, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. We won't take too much time. I think let me just kind of start with, you've been in the services, and now you're kind of leading the services as a minister. You've seen it all. What from your vantage point, what has changed in the services from when you started and today?
I think the number of, the people who are coming in the services today, they are much more smarter, far better exposed to today's technologies, today's resources, and the kind of things that we would never be able to imagine that we can get them in the districts. Those things are available first. Second, the fund flow in the districts is significantly higher compared to what it used to be in the past. So the opportunities to make a difference are much bigger, I would say. Third, the collegial kind of work atmosphere which used to be there has now expanded beyond state boundaries because of the use of technologies. When I interact with the young officers, they keep telling me, अरे वो आसाम में ऐसा हुआ है इसलिए मैंने ऐसे किया, तमिलनाडु में ऐसा हुआ है इसलिए मैंने ऐसे किया. That kind of thing is very popular, I would say.
Particularly in the railways, Ashwini ji, I think even, 10, 12 years ago, would have been unfathomable to think of anybody sharing a portfolio with railways. Railways is so large, it's like a country, there's so many employees, there's so much of land, there's so much of passengers. But, you've been able to, do 3 ministries, railways one of them. Is it the technology that's kind of changed and now you administer in railways, or was it politics that actually made railways much more complicated than it had to be? I mean, how do you view the administration of railways specifically?
See, the biggest strength of railway bureaucracy is the technical strength that they have. There are real hardcore technical people who understand the technology, who understand the railway operations, who understand what goes in making a bridge stable, what goes in making a tunnel stable. They are able to really calibrate themselves to the new challenges. I think that is the biggest strength of railways. If anybody, whether it is any railway minister in whichever government, our Prime Minister helped us, that he always tells us that when you interact with bureaucracy, you have to think of the strengths of the bureaucracy and play on that strength. There are so many instances when that advice has been so useful. So once we play on the strength of our bureaucracy, so in the case of railways, the technical strength of railways, if we use that well, then one can achieve a lot, is the way I understood railways in the 3.5 years of the journey here.
And the fact that you're sharing that portfolio, are there any intersections, is there anything?
A lot. See, today technology straddles across sectors, and technology is no longer a vertical, it's a horizontal thing.
Correct.
And if you are able to, for example, in telecom, there are so many things that we did in railways which were useful for telecom sector, and things in telecom were useful for railway sector. Now, let's say electronics and IT. There are so many things of IT and electronics which are useful in railways, straightforward. You can implement, and the experience of a large organization like railways gives the right inputs where we can make the correct policies, innovation-friendly policies in IT.
So what's your advice to the young IAS aspirants or even the DMs? Is governance now less fragmented than it used to be? Like less sort of specialized, or is it more specialized? Because I can argue both points in my mind.
No, you're right. One can argue both sides of the entire thing. But what I would like to say is, the world today is very different from the world which was there, let's say 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago. In today's world, the role of specialization is increasing day by day. So one would really be in good stead if one picks up any officer, if you guys pick up one of the subjects that you like, or 2 subjects that you like. Somebody can like sustainability, somebody can work on gender issues, somebody can work on finance, somebody can work on technology issues. Whatever you like, and you kind of try to study that subject and learn that subject and keep experimenting using that subject over a long period of time, then that will give you significant advantage in your career, in your life also. I think gone are the days when a pure generalist approach would do well. I think time has come when, except in a few, even in humanity related, let's say Ministry of Social Justice, the understanding of what caste is, the understanding of how caste interplays in a country, the understanding of how the ages of discrimination have shaped people's thinking, that's something which requires a specialized thinking that cannot be done with one subject here today, one department here and another department there. I think specialization is very, very important. It's going to be even more important in the coming years.
So you did Wharton and IAS. It's a very IIT, IAS, Wharton. It's a very interesting mix. But because you said that, is IIT and IAS a better combination to be a good administrator in the year 2025, or is a BA and IAS a better combination to be a good administrator in the year 2025?
None of the above. What's important is your value system. If your value system is strong, if you know that you can face the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror and look into the eyes and say that yes, what I'm doing is right, then that's the right choice for being a good officer.
Artificial intelligence question had to come up, especially because you're a techie. Do you worry about that at all, about AI replacing, you know, the role of a DM, or like making it tougher for, you know, people to be equipped to administer in a world of AI?
On the contrary, I think AI and every technology would really empower the DMs in doing things much better, improving their efficiency, improving their reach to the people, making sure that the communication between the citizens and the government is improving. And as I said earlier, if we can develop that trust between the government and the citizens, I think that's the biggest definition of good governance. And I think AI will really help in AI or every technology, whether it is 5G, whether it is whatever we today see or whatever we are going to see in the future. Harnessed well, they can make a very big difference.
And the age-old question, it still stands about replacing jobs. You know, Telegram is $1 billion revenue company with 30 employees, famously, as you probably know better than anybody else. Is that something that you think about?
I think jobs, the nature of jobs has been changing for the last thousands of years, right? Earlier, the pace of change used to be like in decades. Now the pace of change reduced to years, and now it's reducing further. Yeah. The pace of change will be there. What we as people in position should do is to make sure that our citizens are equipped with the right skills, which can help them cope with this change, cope with this transition, because this transition is going to happen come what may. How we prepare for it, how we cope with it, how we prepare others for it is what's going to matter.
Super. Ashwini ji, we'll have some fun. We play a little bit of a rapid fire. And, you know, I think you might remember the format. Just have some fun with it. And, you know, keep answers a little bit short. So one thing that's changed for an IAS aspirant today compared to when you were studying, and the one thing that's not changed?
Too much of information. How do you cope with so much GK? I don't know. I think we'll require a chatbot to do the GK exam. Is it still there, General Studies exam?
And so I think most of them rely on Indian Express for that part of for that part of the exam. One thing that's not changed?
I think that aspirational level within our villages, everywhere throughout the country, and it has expanded. Earlier, many places like Maharashtra, like Gujarat, people would generally not even aspire to be an IAS officer. Today, it's there throughout the country.
Ashwini ji, at some point, Babudam had got a bit of a bad name in India. Can you go back to that time and tell us when that was and why that was?
I'm not a history student. I live in the present and think of the future.
Okay. All right. The one lesson you have learned from Wharton that has helped your effectiveness as a minister and administrator?
Economic point of view, see, we can think of anything in multiple ways. One way of thinking is, okay, this is good, this is bad, so judgmental. Another thing, moral, immoral. So putting different types of frames of reference on things. But when you understand finance, when you study finance in a very deep way, and you start understanding the nuances of finance, then you start looking at things from an economic point of view, and that makes a big difference in our day-to-day life.
And the one lesson from the IAS that you think should be taught in MBA schools around the world?
Value system, creating that, okay, so creating institutions is not something which is easy, right? It really comes with lots and lots of efforts by thousands and thousands of people over a few generations. So when we want to build institutions in a country, we can learn from the IAS, especially the institution of a district magistrate, and that can be a good template for many other things.
Super. the most exciting use of AI in governance that you have seen?
Okay, so one good example that I saw was in improving the number of reserved tickets, confirmed tickets. We applied AI on various pairs of stations, and it's able to give you such a good outcome that in the areas where it is applied, the confirmed tickets have increased by almost 28% or something, without actually harming the prospects of the people. It's good fun.
Super.
I'm a bit serious kind of people, so serious kind of person. So
No, it's a good answer. The most worrisome use of AI for governance?
Deep fakes.
Deepfakes. One line of advice to an IAS aspirant who says, I want to grow up to become Ashwini Vaishnaw.
That's the most difficult question. I don't want anybody to grow like me. Grow your own life, live your own life, live your own values, live your own aspirations. We all have our very distinct, very different backgrounds, and do what you love to do, basically. I would say that do what you love to do, just do that. Live in the present, think of the future, have focus, distract all the distractions, keep them away, and really, really have a meaningful life.
The growing popularity of the political theater behind DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, does that concern you at all?
No, see, multiple things we have also done. For example, in the various schemes, when Aadhaar came, there were so many cases where funds were actually going to some persons whereas those persons didn't exist. For example, today DOGE has identified people above 200 years age, right? So that kind of thing has been done in our country when Aadhaar came, when so much cleaning up. I think it's about 1,50,000 crore rupees worth savings were made, and these are savings which carry on year after year. So that kind of thing has been practiced in our country already.
Super. If you had a magic wand, any one thing you would want to change about Indian bureaucracy?
I'll be killed for giving a right answer. See, if there is one thing which I will request, I'm using the word request here. If there is one thing which I'll request all the officers, and especially in all services, is have an open mind, listen to the people, understand what their problems are, and instead of just commiserating with their problems, try to find a solution.
Okay. Is there one country outside of India whose bureaucracy you admire?
Singapore.
Okay. Why?
Very smart people, extremely knowledgeable.
But the population of Kaf Parade, I mean Singapore.
That can be, see, question is not, the bureaucracy also is relatively small, right?
Okay.
It can be small, but the point here is, what's the level of their intellect,
Yeah.
the level of their capability? That's phenomenal.
Is there an English bias in services, and should it be corrected?
It should be corrected. We must love all our languages. I'm sure all officers know how well we learn the language of the place. Odia kiye koi paruchanti ethi? There are 2 officers from Odisha cadre, right? You enjoy living with the people the state in which you go and live, and I think that's a great thing.
Okay. You're a technologist, a finance whiz, and a politician. So I'm going to ask you, which skill do you find most used in each of your ministries? So let's start with IT. Do you find the technologist used most, or the finance guy used most, or the politician used most?
No, I think understanding of society makes a very big difference in all the 3 ministries. Technology you can get from anybody, right? But your understanding of how the social system works, what the society expects from you, what are the times that we are living in, where do we want our country to go from where we are today? Those are the things which matter much more than the skills.
So politician, is that a political skill, you think?
I frankly wouldn't like to put it in that kind of bucket, because things are not as easy as that. Like you can put them in small buckets.
Okay.
Now you guys know what the UPSC interview looks like, right?
Okay, I'll ask a last question. if bureaucrats from around the world were to have visited the Kumbh, the Mahakumbh.
Oh, they would fail. Mahakumbh is such a big thing. I mean, organizing and something of this magnitude, I don't think any other country can take this challenge except the IS officers and the IPS officers and the railway officers and the other officers of our country. Nobody else can take that challenge.
Super. Ashwini, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
and asking all the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the Honorable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Goenka. But we'll request you to stay on stage with us. We would now like to present the Honorable Union Minister with a token of our appreciation. This is the front page print of the Indian Express dated July 18th, 1970, which is also the Honorable Minister's birthday. Thank you, sir. We'll request you to kindly take your seat, please, sir. But I'll request Mr. Goenka to stay on stage with us to deliver the vote of thanks, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making the time to be here. I won't spend too much time speaking. I know a lot of people have been speaking on stage. And honestly, after Ashwini ji, I don't want to follow that act. So congratulations to all of you. I'm the third generation now at the Indian Express. And my grandfather started the paper in 32. He was an MP from Vidisha also briefly. So I saw one of our friends win from Vidisha. I think I'd like to believe that the Indian Express has been doing a pretty decent job auditing government all the way from 1932 till today. I think we're going to continue that job. In spite of that as a central role for the Express, I really feel that whichever IS officer, government servant that I have interacted with, I have always come impressed and feeling so impressed by their commitment, passion, and especially like we saw today, we're just also grateful for the kind of effort, commitment, and work that you all put into making India a better place. Thank you all for your efforts. Thank you for coming here. A lot of you have come with your families. And thank you to all the distinguished guests and the first row here who have taken time. Very grateful to all of you, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you very much.
Mr. Goenka, I'll request you to stay on stage with us, please. Ladies and gentlemen, to make this moment truly special for all the winners of the Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards, I'd also now like to take this opportunity to invite the Honorable Minister back on stage with us. I'd also like to take this opportunity to invite Mr. Vivek Goenka, Mr. George Verghese, all our winners with their trophies to join us on stage, our jury, our sponsor partners to kindly join us on stage so that we can get this one memorable picture with the Honorable Minister, please. Could I request all our winners with their trophies to kindly join us on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another round of applause as we congratulate all our winners of the Indian Express Excellence in Governance Awards. We'd like to thank each one of you once again for taking out the time. Once again, a big thank you to all our sponsors and partners without whom none of this really would have been possible. Our presenting partner, NextGen Cloud Technologies, our co-presenting partner, the National Stock Exchange, associate partners, Vajiram and Ravi, NTPC, Indian Oil, Government of Uttarakhand, Gujarat State Cooperative Bank, ICICI Bank, our university partner, ICFI, knowledge partner, PwC. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we've come to an end of this very, very successful evening. We'd like to thank our Honorable Chief Guest, the Honorable Minister, once again for taking out the time and joining us. And thank you for being such a lovely audience. Do join us for dinner, and congratulations to all the winners once again.